We've all been there, a moment when someone's words hit us harder than any punch could. Maybe it was a passing comment, or maybe it was something they said with the intention to hurt. But no matter how it came, it stuck with you, and you carry it with you, sometimes for years. But why do words have such power over us? Why do insults have the ability to shake us to our core? In today's video, we're diving into something we've all faced. The kind of insults that cut deep, the ones that leave a mark on our hearts, our self-worth, and our confidence. We're going to explore the impact these words have on us, how they shape our identity, and most importantly, how to heal from them and rise stronger. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the power of words, but also how to reclaim your peace and rebuild your sense of self. So stick with me, because this is a journey toward healing, strength, and finding your true worth beyond the hurtful words of others. But before we continue, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next, because what you're about to hear might change the way you view the impact of words and how to reclaim your power. Now let's dive deep into the kind of insults that cut the deepest and what you can do to rise above them. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Words that don't heal. Some words fade, others echo. We've all heard something cruel before: a quick insult, a sarcastic jab, a bitter comment made in anger. Most of the time we brush it off, but sometimes one single sentence can stick with you for years. It seeps into your self-worth, your confidence, and the way you see yourself in the mirror. Not because it was true, but because it hit a vulnerable place you didn't even know existed. Think back. What's one insult you still remember word for word? Maybe it came from a stranger, but more often it came from someone who knew you. A parent who told you you'd never amount to anything, a teacher who laughed at your ideas, a friend who turned on you in front of others, or worse, a partner who said you were lucky anyone even tolerated you. It's strange how quickly those words are said and how slowly they leave. Psychologists call it emotional branding. The idea that words, especially repeated ones, brand themselves into our identity. You're told you're lazy enough times, and eventually you stop trying. You're called ugly enough times, and you stop showing up. It becomes a loop, not because the insult was true, but because your spirit was injured enough to believe it. Insults that cut deep don't just wound you in the moment, they steal your future if you let them. And the worst part? Most of them were spoken by people who had no idea what they were really doing. But now that we know the damage they can cause, we can't ignore it anymore. Because healing begins with awareness. Chapter 2. When the insult comes from someone you love. It hurts when a stranger insults you, but when it comes from someone you love, that pain cuts deeper than most people will ever understand. These aren't just random words. They come from the people who were supposed to protect you, believe in you, stand by you. A parent, a sibling, a spouse, a best friend, someone who knows your story, your struggles, your heart. So when they say something cruel, it doesn't just sting, it shatters. It could be a mother saying, "Why can't you be more like your brother?" A father who tells you you're a disappointment. A spouse who mocks you during an argument. No one else would ever want you. At that moment you feel the wind knocked out of your soul, not just because of what was said, but because of who said it. What's worse, many times these people never apologize. They forget the comment the next day while you carry it for years. And when you finally bring it up, they say, "You're too sensitive," or "I didn't mean it like that." But you know what you heard, and it changed something inside you. When love becomes the source of emotional damage, it creates confusion. You start questioning yourself. If the people closest to me say I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not. But here's the truth. Love doesn't always come from healthy people. Some people project their pain, their insecurity, their bitterness, and they aim it at the nearest target, you. That doesn't make it your truth. It makes it their weakness. Healing from this kind of insult takes time, but it starts with recognizing that their words do not define you, your resilience does. You are not the insult, you are the soul that survived it. If you're finding value in this content, take a second to subscribe, not just for me, but for you. Because this space is all about healing, growth, and truth, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Your voice matters here. Your journey matters, and I promise there's so much more coming that you won't want to miss. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep growing together. Chapter 3. When the insult becomes your identity. There's a moment, and maybe you've felt it, when an insult stops feeling like an attack and starts sounding like the truth. You don't even remember when it happened. Maybe it was after hearing the same hurtful words over and over. Maybe it was during a time when you were already struggling, and someone's cruel remark landed at the worst possible moment. Whatever the cause, something shifted. And now, it's not just something they said, it's who you think you are. I'm just not good enough. I'll never be successful. I'm ugly, I'm unlovable, I'm weak. That's the real danger of insults that cut deep. They don't stay on the surface. They bury themselves in your identity. They wrap around your thoughts like chains, and over time, you stop needing others to insult you, because you've already started doing it to yourself. This is the silent damage, the part nobody sees. You still smile, you still post, you still laugh at jokes and go to work, but inside that voice keeps whispering, they were right about you. But here's the truth, that voice isn't yours. It was planted by someone else, and you've been watering it without even realizing it. You were never born thinking you were worthless. Someone taught you that. Now it's time to unlearn it. Because no insult, no matter how sharp or how often repeated, is more powerful than the moment you decide to stop believing it. You are not their opinion. You are not their anger. You are not their projection. You are enough, and always have been. Chapter 4. Breaking the Cycle. The first time you hear a cruel insult, it wounds you. The second time, it reopens the wound. But the third, that's when it starts to become a pattern. And patterns become prisons. Many people are trapped in cycles of verbal and emotional abuse, not just from others, but from themselves. They replay hurtful words in their mind like a broken record. They unconsciously seek out relationships that feel familiar, even if familiar means toxic. They brace themselves for rejection in places they haven't even been rejected yet. Why? Because the mind adapts to pain. It tries to protect you by expecting the worst, but in doing so, it can keep you locked inside the echo of someone else's cruelty. But cycles can be broken, and it starts with awareness. You must recognize where the pattern began. Was it something your parents always said? A bully in school? A toxic ex who broke you down piece by piece? Pinpoint it, because healing starts when you name the source of the wound. Then, and this is hard, you have to confront the lies, those insults planted in your mind. Replace "I'm not smart enough" with "I'm still learning but I'm capable." Replace "I'm hard to love" with "I deserve real, healthy love." It's not about pretending you were never hurt. It's about refusing to let that hurt define you anymore. Breaking the cycle means choosing to believe a better story about yourself, even if you don't fully feel it yet. And yes, it takes time. But every time you reject the lie, every time you speak truth to yourself, every time you create boundaries, that's a crack in the cycle. That's a step toward freedom. You don't have to carry the weight of other people's words forever. You get to decide what you keep and what you leave behind. Chapter 5. Rewriting your worth. There comes a moment, sometimes quietly, sometimes with fire, when you decide, I don't want to carry this anymore. You've been living under the weight of someone else's words, letting their opinions shape your self-image, measuring your value through the lens of their brokenness. But here's the truth. They never told you. You are not what they called you. You are what you choose to become. Rewriting your worth doesn't mean pretending the insults didn't hurt. It means choosing not to let them have the final say. It means giving yourself permission to reclaim your voice and rewrite the narrative they tried to force on you. Start by speaking life over yourself, even if your voice shakes, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Say, I am worthy of love even when I've been rejected. I am enough, even if others made me feel small. I have value not because they approved of me, but because I am here. I am human and I matter. Don't wait for those who hurt you to apologize. Some never will. That healing isn't for them, it's for you. Forgiveness, when you're ready, isn't saying they were right. It's saying you're done letting them have power over your peace. Surround yourself with truth in people, in books, in the content you consume. Pour positivity into the parts of you they tried to break. And when the old voices come creeping back, remind yourself, those insults came from a place of pain, not truth. You are not defined by their opinions. You are defined by your resilience, your courage, and the quiet power of choosing to rise anyway. This is your moment. Rewrite the story. If you're finding value in this content, take a second to subscribe, not just for me, but for you. Because this space is all about healing, growth, and truth, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Your voice matters here. Your journey matters, and I promise there's so much more coming that you won't want to miss. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep growing together. Chapter 6. From Wounds to Wisdom. You've carried the sting. You've replayed the words. You've looked in the mirror and heard their voices, not your own. But now, you're stepping into something deeper, wisdom. Because here's the truth, the most powerful people aren't the ones who've never been insulted. They're the ones who've been torn down and decided to rebuild anyway. Wounds, when left unhealed, can become scars of shame. But when you confront them, face them, and grow through them, they become marks of wisdom. Evidence that you've been through the fire and didn't burn out. That you've heard the worst and still chose to speak better over others and yourself. Every insult that cut you can now become a lesson that strengthens you. You understand now how words shape identity, so you speak with more care. You know how damaging labels can be, so you uplift instead of tear down. You felt the ache of being misunderstood, so you listen with more compassion. That is the evolution. That is the power. The same mouth that once whispered doubts to yourself can now speak life into others. The same ears that once absorbed hate now filter truth from lies. You no longer exist in reaction to what they said. You move in alignment with who you really are. Wounds taught you pain, but wisdom teaches you purpose. You've seen how deep insults can cut, but now you know that healing cuts deeper. And healing? Healing speaks louder. So walk boldly, speak kindly. And when someone tries to cut you down again, smile because you already know. You've turned your wounds into weapons of wisdom. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. If you've ever felt the sting of a harsh word or been weighed down by someone else's opinion, remember this. Those insults don't define you, you do. Now it's your turn to rewrite your story, reclaim your peace, and rise from the ashes of their words. You are stronger than you think, and your worth is immeasurable. If this video spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more empowering content like this. Together, we'll continue to build a community of resilience, strength, and truth. Until next time, remember the words you choose can change everything. Choose wisely, speak kindly, and always, always know your worth. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.